Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We appreciate everybody that's staying with us tonight. As I teased on the other side before before we went to that break, we talked about how the First Lady of the United States of America was going to join us here on the show. And so I'm going to have a couple of clips. There's a clip of her speech, and then there's going to be some analysis of her speech. Obviously, her speech in entirety, we're not going to have it, but we will have a piece of it, and then we'll have a little bit of analysis. I got this from CBS News this morning, so we're going to play those two clips, and then Tony and I are going to talk about it, and we'll get into some other stuff. And so I want you to take a listen. Michelle Obama, the First Lady of the United States of America.
Start out as the fully formed First Lady who stands before you today. No, I had my share of bumps along the way. But as potentially the first African-American First Lady, I was also the focus of another set of questions and speculations, conversations sometimes rooted in the fears and misperceptions of others. Was I too loud or too angry or too emasculating? But eventually, I realized that if I wanted to keep my sanity and not let others define me, there was only one thing I could do, and that was to have faith in God's plan for me. Look, I love our daughters more than anything in the world, more than life itself. And while that may not be the first thing that some folks want to hear from an Ivy League educated lawyer, it is truly who I am. So for me, being mom in chief is and always will be job number one. So I took on issues that were personal to me. Issues like helping families raise healthier kids, honoring the incredible military families that I'd met out on the campaign trail, inspiring our young people to value their education and finish college. So yeah, I planted a garden and hula hooped on the White House lawn with kids. I did some mom dancing on TV. I celebrated military kids with Kermit the Frog. I asked folks across the country to wear their alma mater's t-shirts for college signing day. And at the end of the day, by staying true to the me I've always known, I found that this journey has been incredibly freeing. Because no matter what happened, I had the peace of mind of knowing that all of the chatter, the name calling, the doubting, all of it was just noise. It did not define me. It didn't change who I was. And most importantly, it couldn't hold me back. I didn't start out as the fully formed First Lady.
The commencement speech by First Lady Michelle Obama offers a revealing look at her role in the White House. Her address at Tuskegee University provided some of the most candid remarks about how she's growing into the historic position. Jan Crawford is in Washington with the emotional speech. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning. So, Tuskegee is an historically black university in Alabama that's been home to some of the nation's most prominent African-American pioneers. And it was there, before the school's newest graduating class, that Obama talked about how she's learned to ignore criticism as America's first African-American First Lady.
In her deeply personal speech, Michelle Obama told new graduates she wasn't always the fully formed First Lady that addressed them Saturday.
I had a lot of sleepless nights worrying about what people thought of me.
She mentioned the persistent questions about her husband's citizenship, the fist bump with then candidate Obama that was dubbed a terrorist fist jab, which led to the controversial 2008 New Yorker magazine cover, an image Obama said knocked her back a bit. And then there were the critics who used racially charged language.
Cable news charmingly referred to me as Obama's baby mama.
She told the graduates they would have to learn to ignore the criticism.
The road ahead is not going to be easy. It never is, especially for folks like you and me.
She said she and the president know what it's like when people look past them, seeing just a fraction of who they really are.
The people at formal events who assumed we were the help And those who have questioned our intelligence, our honesty, even our love of this country.
But she said for others, the experiences can be so much worse.
Those nagging worries that you're going to get stopped or pulled over for absolutely no reason.
Alluding to the uprisings in Baltimore and Ferguson, she said while those problems are rooted deep, that's no excuse to give up.
To succumb to feelings of despair and anger only means that in the end we lose.
Tricia Rose, who heads the Center for the Study of Race and Ethnicity at Brown University, said Obama's message can have a big impact.
This saturates our world. Don't think I am so lofty to be above this mistreatment. And on the other hand, she's saying, even with all of that, there are some ways to continue to fight and to hold on to what you believe in.
Now, Mrs. Obama also talked about feeling invisible, that as hard as you try, you just don't matter. And those are themes that were explored back in 1953 in Ralph Ellison's iconic book, Invisible Man. And she pointed out to the new graduates that Ellison was one of the many pioneers who got their start at Tuskegee and went on to greatness. Nora?
Jan, thanks. That is a speech worth reading from beginning to end. Everyone should take a look at that. Thank you, Jan.
Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We had a lot to kind of respond to. First Lady of the United States of America had some comments about her experiences as the First Lady of the United States and how she's been treated in the commencement speech that she gave at Tuskegee University down there in, I believe, Alabama. At this time, of course, we'll have some commentary on that in a minute, but at this time, I want to introduce the new addition to the show. And she ain't no new addition because y'all hear her every single week. She's my big sis. She's also the co-host of Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Y'all hear her every single week. And her name is S.Y. Butler. What's up, baby?
What's up, darling?
How y'all doing today?
I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
You doing all right?
I'm great. I don't want to stop traffic, but mommy's listening.
Mommy.
Pass this to you while she's listening.
Yeah. Ooh, I got a bag. Ooh,
Yes.
I feel the bag. The bag is liquid.
I tied it in a knot.
Oh, you
just
gotta
'cause
open
she
it
told
for
me.
my hands is full.
Y'all, I was
Mommy's
so happy this
listening.
weekend. I took a surprise
Mommy's
trip
listening.
to go to New York and see my
Oh,
mommy.
okay. Oh, hey.
So,
If you was here, like, oh my goodness
and she
gracious
said
alive.
that is not to share.
No, I ain't gonna be sharing this. No, this is going home with me. Mommy, thank you so much. Got so much love for you. Your baby came home to see you, and she checked in, and she let us know that she had made it safe. And of course, we know you guys had a good weekend. I'm so glad that y'all have an opportunity to spend together and fellowship. And this joint say product of Jamaica, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, boy.
And yeah, the grin that's on my face right now is plastered on, and I don't know that there's anything that could take it off other than racism. Ain't no half stepping. Love you, mama. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy in that radio. All right, Tony. First Lady of the United States of America did a commencement speech at Tuskegee this weekend. She talked about her experiences, and you had a lot of folks. That's why I'm gonna get you in a minute. You had a lot of folks on the right side who had a problem with her sharing her personal experiences. I'm gonna get your comment here, but then I'm gonna read some comments that were given to the realm of social media by some of the Michelle Obama and downright Obama haters. What's your thoughts on her sharing her personal experiences in a commencement speech over the weekend?
I think it's absolutely necessary because it shows, the children and young adults that success is possible for anyone. It doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you've been through. You can have whatever it is you want in this life. You just got to go get it. So absolutely, people got to stop feeding these fairy tales to their children. Life is hard. It's very hard. Even if you have that silver spoon on the silver platter. Life is still hard, but as long as you have the internal fortitude to say, you know what, I'm not going to settle for anything less than the absolute best and what I was created to do, gotta have it.
That's why. There were a couple of comments. You can comment on the First Lady's speech, or you can comment on the comments. I'm going to read a couple of the comments of some of the folks who were not happy with her personalizing the speech, in which she talked about her personal experience being First Lady, and how when she first became First Lady, she wasn't ready, and how she had to grow into the position. One tweet: just heard the First Lady of the United States commence the speech with a sad, bitter woman. Way to encourage and uplift. Then you had FLOTUS. FLOTUS means First Lady of the United States. FLOTUS to graduates: I know this is your happiest day, but I'm going to make it about me. FLOTUS: how negative a speech. Kid worked so hard to hear her bad life. She should have been more positive. Oh my gosh, FLOTUS, please stop playing victim. Start encouraging others. Stop the blame game. This is America. FLOTUS, please stop race baiting. You missed a great opportunity to encourage young people to reach for a dream on personal hard work. There's a lot. I'm not gonna read them all, but there's a lot. FLOTUS, you're a race baiting failure, just like your liar. Just like the liar you married. Hate-filled racists like FLOTUS are fed hate at home and in their schools growing up. It's learned behavior. It's learned behavior. That's ironic. Her rhetoric does not surprise me. She has always been anti-white, chip on her shoulder, even before being FLOTUS. FLOTUS' message is the most hate-inspiring, divisive, anti-race biter message ever spewed from a First Lady. There's more.
So,
I can't.
More than enough.
Yeah, I can't do no more.
I
can't do no more.
It's just an extension of hate that I'm hearing. For her to share, I've got to definitely agree with Tony, and for her to share, these are kids that are getting ready to go out into the world now, getting ready to go out, make their own. So why not share that there are obstacles? Why not share that you may have been afraid to do something, but you had to work at it, because you had to learn it, you had to get comfortable in it? Why not share that it can be done? I don't see where it's negative at all.
It's a rare moment that I'm speechless. Yeah, it ain't even this moment. I ain't speechless. Look here, check this out, right? I look at this, right, and I say to myself, people who don't understand will never understand. If you are black in this country, people who are not black in this country are not going to understand. If you white in this country, people who are not white are not going to understand. And I think where we run into a problem is we try to understand someone else's plight. People like to run away from the discussion of race. I had a post on my Facebook wall a couple of days ago that alluded to this. There is absolutely no problem with discussing race relations and racism and bigotry and none of that kind of stuff. There's no problem with it. I ain't got no problem with it, because I think people who do are afraid of the discussion because they're afraid of their position. You're afraid of your position. You're afraid of losing something. Why are you afraid of losing something?
Yep.
I'm a black man in this country. I know where I came from. I know my history for the last 400 years. I don't know beyond that, and I should. But I know my history in this country last 400 years. I know what folks have done to us. I know what folks have done for us. You know what I mean? And we are not a victim. We are great people, and we've done great things. And I am sick and tired of people who have a problem with black people standing on their own 2 feet and speaking positivity and speaking solidarity and speaking to other folks, particularly young folks, about their plight and what they've been through and what they've seen. The First Lady of the United States, the first black First Lady of the United States, who were telling graduates at a black college the things that she's seen, the things that she's done, and the wisdom that she has. And you got people who ain't black who got a problem with it.
I was having a conversation with my esthetician, who just happens to be a young white girl, sweet. And we were talking about the teenager who is dating a Hawaiian girl. So when I told her, that, and my esthetician is white, but her boyfriend is black. So when I told her that, the girl was Hawaiian, she said, "Oh, exotic." And I said, "Black is exotic? Like, why you act like it's like dusty old black is like nothing?" I said, "Being black is exotic." And she said, "Well, but I mean, it doesn't really matter, And I said, "Well, to each his or her own. I love all people, all races, all colors, all sizes. However, as I explained to my son, there is no one who will be able to understand what you have to experience as a man of color, who will be able to appreciate and acknowledge you for the king that you are, like a black woman can." And of course, at age 16, he's of the, "Oh, well, I don't see color, la, la, la." That's cool. I understand. And I'm not that mother that would be like, "Oh, she can't come to my house." I'm not like that at all. You're young, experiencing different things. That's fine. But, you need to realize that it's not just the, "Oh, I like her, she likes me." When you get older, you become an adult. This world is unrelenting. And you need to have somebody that has your back and can understand and empathize with you. And, and not just her, your family. If you're going to be with someone, if you're going to get married to someone, that's a union that, that is not just between the two of you, because you have to think about, are they going to accept you? No, you're not marrying them, but you're going to have to interact with them. And I'm concerned about somebody treating my son as less than what he really is because he don't look like y'all.
Yeah. No,
So
I could
I
totally.
think she was a little offended, but
Well, I mean, the truth of the matter is,
Yeah.
we are always offended. No one cares about us being offended. And so I've gotten to the point where I don't care if other folks are offended. When I say I don't care, I don't mean that in the literal sense. I mean that more generally, because at the end of the day, every single person in this country has their own perspective. And you should not feel guilty, sad, or any other kind of negative way about expressing how you feel about situations. That's why I call the show Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. I don't half step on here, man. Everybody's opinion is welcome. I'll interview a black Muslim as quick as I interview a KKK person. And KKK person ain't listening, so they probably will never come on. But if they would, I would talk to them. I would treat them fairly because they're a human being first to me. Right. I would treat them like a human being until they disrespect me. Then if you disrespect me, then you get the wrath of my forked tongue. But at the end of the day, they are who they are. And that's just how I feel about it. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. Call us up. You want to be part of this. Call us at 804-402-2893 if you want to be a part of the discussion. We're going to take a little bit of a turn here tonight. Here on this show, we don't as I mentioned before, we don't half step. We say what we feel. We keep it 100. I got Miss Tony. I got my co-host S.Y. Butler here in the studio, and I got a story here from my favorite website that I like to call
the Huffington Post.
And it's been so long since I heard you
Yes,
say that. Yeah, man, yeah. This one is interesting. I have held on to this one, S.Y. and Tony, for a while because I was looking for the right combination of people here in studio to have this discussion. And so I look across the table and I see my, I like to call my little sis and my big sis. I got Miss Tony and I got S.Y. And I'm curious to know you guys' opinion on this one. This article I'm getting from the Huffington Post, the headline of it is, if the criminal justice system treated other music the way that it treats rap. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because we've had many discussions here on this show, on other shows, and social media. We've discussed before about misogyny in hip hop, about violence in hip hop, about how people who are hip hop artists, rappers, to not be an old guy, how they express themselves and the things that they say. And they talk about ladies in the B word, and they talk about the fellas the N word, and they talk about shoot this and buy that and all that kind of stuff. Hey, look, we got it. But is there a difference between how hip hop artists are perceived in the world, in the country, versus other artists? Around the nation, police and prosecutors are using lyrics from rap songs to incriminate suspects and obtain convictions, often in the absence of traditional forms of evidence. In this way, rap music, and by extension, the artists behind it, face unique scrutiny in the criminal justice system. The vague protocols and laws that enable this practice are used almost exclusively against young black males, then individuals most likely to be creating rap music. Whether this is by design or coincidence, the mentality that enables the practice is racially tinged and troubling. In courtrooms, jurors are told by prosecutors, who sometimes misinterpret or manipulate rap lyrics, to view an artist's words as literal autobiography rather than metaphorical or exaggerated storytelling. This works with disturbing effectiveness, critics say, because rap songs often contain lyrics that reinforce racial stereotypes about black males and hypersexuality or violence, helpful when the prosecutor is trying to make the defendant out to be an actual criminal. But when did we decide that the content of a song is a direct reflection of the songwriter's character, and that is evidence of real-life actions undertaken by that person? When did we decide that there's no clear distinction between the world as an artist that creates the world that he or she actually lives in? Will we have suspected Johnny Cash of actually being a cold-blooded killer? Johnny Cash's song, Folsom Prison Blues, where he said, quote, "But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear the whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry." Third Eye Blind has a song called Slow Motion, where they say, "Miss Jones taught me English, but I think I just shot her son because he owed me money. With a bullet in the chest, you cannot run. Now he's bleeding in a vacant lot. The one in the summer where we used to smoke pot. I guess I didn't mean it, but man, you should have seen it. His flesh explode." Guns N' Roses, my favorite rock band by far, Guns N' Roses. They got a song called Used to Love Her. "I used to love her, but I had to kill her. I knew I'd miss her, so I had to keep her. She's buried right in my backyard."
Good mother.
Neil Young has a song called Down by the River, where he says, "Down by the river, I shot my baby. Down by the river, dead. Shot her in the head, shot her dead." One of the greatest artists of all time, someone who is my spiritual advisor, who has influenced me in ways that you cannot even imagine, that I will share and not share, whose influence has influenced legacy in the radio. Bob Marley has a song. It's called I Shot the Sheriff. And in it, he says, "I shot the sheriff, but I say I didn't shoot no deputy. I didn't shoot no deputy." He shot the sheriff, but he didn't shoot the deputy. He still shot somebody. Rihanna, R&B singer. "Oh, mama, 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 I shot a man down in Central Station in front of a big old crowd." It's a lot going on here. Even Cher, she's got a song called Dark Lady. "So I sneaked back and caught her with my man, laughing and kissing till they saw the gun in my hand. The next thing I knew, they were dead on the floor. Dark Lady would never turn her card up no more."
Get him, Cher. Get him, girl.
There's a lot more, and I'm not going to get to it. But the point I'm making is hip-hop lyrics. We know them. They're well documented. I made a point of not reading any of them because I'm not going to feed into the stereotypical black male spewing hatred in their lyrics. I made a point of reading lyrics that did not include black males other than Bob Marley. What do y'all think? Is there a difference between how black males are perceived in music, hip hop more specifically versus how other genres are perceived? I'm gonna start with you on this one, Tony. What's your thoughts? Am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping because they're already, they already see us as these wild, untamed beasts. So when you hear lyrics about, shooting up folks and slanging rocks and riding around and getting it, it just kind of further, I guess, contributes to the belief that we are still these
That we're
wild
untamed.
animals that were, put to work on the plantation.
Yep, I agree. We get the backlash, period. We get talked about, period. So, with making that music, they're like, yeah, that's all we're about. So that's how they treat us. They're all about fighting each other. They're all about killing, stealing, robbing, carrying guns, and all kinds of nonsense. So forget about what anybody else made. They highlight us. They highlight us. It's just another extension of hate, actually.
Is there some sort of conspiracy there? Is there a issue with omission there, or is it a plan with it being? And here's why I asked the question. That's why, Tony, I've always had a problem, even as a young person, with the fact that my favorite artists, my favorite movie stars, should I say, were Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger when I was growing up. I was, 11 years old when one of my favorite movies came out. It was a movie called Commando. It was a movie that featured Arnold Schwarzenegger as a military guy whose daughter got kidnapped, and he had to rescue his daughter. He had like 2 days to rescue her or they were going to kill her. And so he released himself from his restraints and he went on a rampage and he killed like 200 people to save his daughter. Commando. We know about Sylvester Stallone's movies. He had Rambo and he had Cobra and he had a bunch of movies in the 80s where he killed a whole bunch of people. Movies. Mm-hmm. White men. Movies. Is there a difference between the portrayal of a movie versus the portrayal of lyrics? Is there a difference between white men and black men? Am I being disingenuous by mentioning the fact that Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger are white men versus Eazy-E and Dr. Dre saying F the police, Ice-T saying cop killer? Is there a difference? Is there a problem there? Is there a difference between Johnny Cash saying what he was saying in those lyrics, Guns N' Roses, I used to love her, but I had to kill her? Am I tripping? Are we tripping?
I don't think we're tripping on that. I mean, really, there's really no way to beat around it, Marcus, really. Again, we are the bad guys here. So if they give the white guy the role, he's acting. He is an actor. When they give us a role, we're kind of like being ourselves. That's how they do it.
Jackie says that art imitates life. Some rap artists are talking about their realities. The rap game is the new drug game. Of course, that's because it's a black male-dominated industry. It's just profiling. They do it in the streets and with their music. Tony, what's your thoughts?
But the thing is, people lose sight of the fact that it's entertainment, because a lot of those hardcore rappers are not hardcore people.
Right.
Example, Drake. But people forget that, it's all about entertainment. And, the more violent you are and the more you talk about hoes and popping bottles and cars, the more you're going to sell, as opposed to somebody who has really something to say, like your Lupe Fiasco, who, he makes really good music, but he talks about stuff that's important and socially conscious, and people don't really want to. People don't really want to hear that all the time.
I'm getting a hit from Michelle K. It's a hit
Michelle.
that she hit us up a little while ago, so I'm a little bit late to this. But Michelle K., she's going back to the First Lady comment. She says that she's never seen a president and First Lady that have experienced such hatred. She is expressing herself to those who can relate to her and people who need to put their racism and hatred to rest. And so we got a couple of things that are on the floor. So we got the hip hop here, and we've got the First Lady of the United States and her comments at the Tuskegee University commencement in her speech. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial if you want to be a part of the discussion. 804-402-2893. It's a lot going on here, and if you want to be a part of it, we're here. We ain't going nowhere. Going to transition. Next discussion that we want to have here. I'm a little bit
Country?
No, I ain't country. There you go. See, that's the thing about her, man.
You can be a little bit rock and roll. I'll be a little bit
all that
country.
stuff, but she always trying to start something, man. See, I'm not even trying to really
So
start.
you wanna be starting something? Got
Really?
To be starting,
Really,
so you wanna be starting something? Got to be starting something.
Really?
Somebody get over.
yeah. I mean, it's Michael Jackson, man. You can be mad all you want, but you fall right in that joint. And you don't have to tell Mark Jackson. All right, listen. That's why. What you on this first?
What?
I want you on this one first.
All right.
I'm getting this one from The Root. Root.com. Ohio man claims that his employer fired him because he refused to cut his dreads. Yeah. Tony, I know you can appreciate this as a sister who rocks some dreads, and that's why you in the process of growing some. Charles Craddock of Cleveland, he's studying mechanics at a local community college, and he needs a steady job to pay his tuition. So it was a godsend when the 20-year-old landed a job recently as a food service associate at Cedar Point Amusement Park, which describes itself as, quote, the roller coaster capital of the world in Sandusky, Ohio. One prerequisite, I always say that word.
Requisite.
Yeah, I always say that.
Prerequisite.
Yeah, what she said is that he was instructed to cut his shoulder-length dreadlocks or lose his job, which is obtained to help pay his tuition at Cuyahoga Community College. The news came after he completed orientation and moved into the dorms at the amusement park. Basically, the short story is any twisted hair has to meet other requirements. Furthermore, Craddock was not fired. Cedar Point spokesman Brian Edwards said in a written statement saying Charles Craddock resigned from his job as a food service associate on May 3rd because he chose not to comply with our grooming standards. Mr. Craddock was informed 3 times prior to moving into the dorms that his hair need to be trimmed or pinned up to meet those guidelines. It's important to note we employ 5,000 associates, and their personal appearance plays a very important role in Cedar Point's overall image. There's more here. I think we got enough. SY,
All right.
you're up first.
Now let me make sure I get this right before I say what I think I'm gonna say. He had the option of clipping his locks above the shoulder or pinning his hair up to comply. Am I right? And it is said that he resigned because he did not want to cut them or pin them up. And he said he was fired. Well, I had dreads once upon a time, and I was never told to cut them or pin them up. I was advised to keep them neat. Keeping them neat wasn't really so much a big deal to me, but honestly, if he had the option of cutting them or pinning his hair up, I don't see the problem with pinning his hair up. He's not cutting his hair. Oh, and they're beautiful too.
I'm showing the ladies a picture of Mr. Craddock, handsome young black man with locks that come down at least to his shoulders.
Yeah, they're past the shoulder.
Past the shoulders, yes.
Yeah, they're shoulder blade, most likely. So this is, maybe I missed something. Is this school or is this the job?
It's his job.
Yeah, he should have pinned them up. If he was given the option, if he was given the option. Pretty much with food anyway, your hair should be net or pulled up out of the way. I would have just pinned them up. He could have put in a ponytail and wrapped it, twist the hair around. He still could rock his hair. But don't quit your job if this is what happened when you have the option. If he did not have the option, hey, brother man, sue your ass off. Because you ain't going to tell me to cut my hair or I'm fired.
Tony, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I also had locks for a few years. And of course, in the workplace, you have to still remain professional looking. And it doesn't matter what your job is. You still want to be nice and, neat. You don't want to look unkempt because, to some people, dreadlocks anyway are just seen as like unruly and like think you're a Rasta and get high all day.
Not clean and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, if it's easy to just pull them back. If you know that's what you need to do, then do that so that you can eat and pay your bills. And then when you get off from work, you're free to just let them go. So, I mean, I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think so. If he's working around food, yeah, just pin your hair up, bro. Pin it up.
I look at it like this, and this is not going to be politically correct. It's not going to be the opinion that people expect for me to have. But when you're an employer and you have a business and you have a certain way that you expect that your employees will conduct themselves, you have the right to decide how your employees look. And if you have it mandated in your bylaws or something like that, you have a strong case to be able to uphold that. If you don't, then maybe not. As a New York Yankees fan, and people asking, why is he bringing up the Yankees? Here's why. As a New York Yankees fan, you cannot have facial hair below your lip. You have a mustache. You can't have a beard. You can't have long hair. It's something that is the Yankee way. And so it's something I've gotten used to. And so I understand it. As a employer, you have the right to have an idea of how the employees will represent your business. If your business, if you decide that you don't want people to have a beard representing your business, you can write that, and you can decide, I don't want you to have a beard here. If there's something in the I don't know if the Constitution is the location, but if there's something federally that will, allow you to not do that, then that's so be it. But in this particular case, I don't know that there's any way that they can say you can't decide how to have your hair. So if this person is in non-compliance with what the private owners say that they want, then I think you out of luck, bro, Mr. Craddock. As much as I want to be on your side as a brother, as a militant, as someone who can put his fist in the air and say, right on, bro. I don't know that I don't think I can roll with you on this one. If you decide that you want to work for this guy, and this guy says that I need people who work for me to have this kind of thing, white people got to go for it, black people got to go for it, Asian people got to go for it, Indian people got to go for it, and you go against it, you don't get to be the one that says, oh, racism, they disrespect it. You don't get to do that. And so I think that I don't think.
And he was, they may have told him this during the interview process. They may not have. But if he was warned 3 other times, I mean, somewhere down the line, he should have known it was coming if he didn't comply.
I can dig it. How Steppin with Marcus J. live from the den of Legacy and everything. Last thing I want to get to, and this one real quick. Last thing I want to get to. I heard a story. That's why.
You heard
Tony.
A story?
That's why I'm Tony. I saw a story of a dude who had to pay child support. And yesterday was Mother's Day. We're going to say more about Mother's Day later on. But there was a dude who had to pay child support for a baby. The lady had twins, but only one of the babies was his.
Oh, Father.
Only one of the babies was his. And so he went to court, and he got the child support for only one of the babies. because only one of the babies was his. Scientifically, because she was, not with only one guy. She was with a couple of guys. So, the other guy was the baby daddy of the other baby. So he was the baby daddy of one.
Can
the
you believe
unidentified
those sperms were in
guy.
a race?
Well, yeah. They were twins, and the twins had different daddies. Think about that for a second. What do you think?
That's killer.
It is killer. But you know what? It brings me to another question, and I only want to bring that up briefly. But I want to take maybe 5 minutes on this next question, and I want to get your opinions on this one. Yesterday was Mother's Day. Next month will be Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday on Mother's Day, we celebrated mothers. Both of you are mothers. Wonderful mothers. I know your son, Tony. Love your son. Great young man. Tony, S.Y., I'm sorry. I know your daughters, both of them. Love them. Your oldest daughter helped us to set up the new den. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very special to me. And your youngest daughter, one of the most talented people I know. Mm-hmm. Love your children, right? But you're mothers. Mm-hmm. Y'all not fathers, are you? Neither one of you are fathers. Or are you? Are you? Tony? I'll just kind of break it down. Tony, are you a father?
In some senses of the word, yes.
Okay. S.Y., are you a father?
Well, I don't have man parts, but I agree with Tony.
Okay. Here's the reason why I brought this up. Mm-hmm. And based on your answers, we might have to spend a little more time on this than I had planned to spend on it. But yesterday was Mother's Day. Next month will be Father's Day. And on Father's Day, traditionally, we celebrate fathers, men, males, who have fathered children. Mm-hmm. But we've also seen a new wave of thought process where we're celebrating single moms on Father's Day. Yesterday, there was a small group of people who wanted to celebrate single dads on Mother's Day. And so I have my opinions about that. Tony, I'm going to come with you first. That's why I want you to follow her, and I'll finish it up. Yesterday was Mother's Day. How you feel about dads getting some shine on Mother's Day? And then moms getting shine on Father's Day. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I get, honestly, on Father's Day, I do get the Happy Father's Day shout outs. And that's cool. But as I guess maybe this seems kind of traditional and sexist, but I mean, I think Mother's Day should be reserved for the female mother figures, whether it's your auntie or grandma or whoever has been a mother to you. And then Father's Day should be reserved for the males who have served those fatherly roles.
So to you, it's about your gender?
Yeah.
You didn't give me the face that made you think that it was about your gender when I set this up. You was giving me the face that made me think that you agree. And I'm gonna call you out. Love you. Still gonna call you out. You gave me the face that would suggest that you were okay with mothers getting a shout out on Father's Day.
Because I do.
Okay, so let's talk about that. And because we don't have Step here, so in the interest of full disclosure, you okay with mothers getting a Father's Day shout out, and fathers getting a Mother's Day shout out, depending on their position in the child's life in that moment?
Honestly, I think parents should be celebrated every day. So
I'm not sure that I'm okay with that, because that sounds like you copping out on me.
I'm not copping out, but
I'm not going to let you do that. I need you to be a little more definitive.
Like there's anything wrong with it, but again, like my focus is on the males who are fathers. So while I get those Happy Father's Day, I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. That's it for me. But I think the focus should be more on the men on Father's Day and the women on Mother's Day.
S.Y.? Tony's just straddling the fence. I'm not sure I'm feeling her. I'm not sure I'm feeling her right now. I'm not sure I'm feeling her right now.
Let me help you out.
I think I'm not sure I'm feeling her right now.
It's like you're saying, yeah, I can get it. That's my holiday. Mommy Day and Daddy Day. But then maybe you shouldn't give it to me on Daddy Day because it really should be for.
But I'll take it.
No, I'm saying I don't expect gifts and like the attention, then the reverence, if you will, that I get on Mother's Day, on Father's Day. I don't expect anything on Father's Day. I don't expect anything, but I do get those Father's Day well wishes.
Okay, so
I don't respond. I ain't no daddy.
I say thank you.
Yeah.
When someone says Happy Father's Day to me, I say thank you. Religiously, I say Happy Father's Day to my mother. Okay? And it's not that, and I know that men feel strongly that women should not be acknowledged on Father's Day and vice versa. There are things that maybe we can't teach our children that a man should be able to teach, like how our son should be a man. And I want to kind of disagree. But unfortunately, sometimes we're put in a position where we've got to play both roles.
Wow.
We're not given a choice. So if I'm going to have to put on gym shorts and go to the gym with you while you play basketball, which I did, call me daddy if you want to. Okay? Every year I tell my mother, Happy Father's Day. One year I even act like I was a kid. And you fold the paper in half and you cut out a tie and you say, Dear Daddy, you're the best dad in the whole world. I send it to my mommy. I'm probably going to do it again this year. It's never going to go away. It's unfortunate, but some of the men have brought this upon all of the men. Okay? So it's not that we're taking anything away from fathers who do their job and stay daddy and be daddy. It's not that we're taking it away from them. Some of you have made it impossible for us to do the mother job while you do your daddy job. So if I've got to play both roles, I will gladly accept a Father's Day card, a shirt, and a tie. I'll gladly accept some cologne, whatever. I don't care. I'll say thank you when you tell me Happy Father's Day.
Ditto.
I hear you. I respect that. Think you're crazy as hell.
It's okay.
And it's cool because we'll have to agree to disagree because as a mother, you'll never be a father. And I don't care how messed up the dude who you laid down with is. You'll never be the father to your child. You just won't because your gender won't allow you.
And I don't want to be.
No more than I'll be a mother to my child. If my child had a messed up mother, you know what I'm saying, and I had to be the sole provider for my child, I'll never be the mother, and I'll never be the one to try to assimilate the role as mother father. Like, I would never say that. You know what I mean? As a man, I would never put myself in a situation when I say, well, you know what, I'm the only one here, so I'm the mother and the father. I would never say that. I would never think like that. There's plenty of single fathers out here who do what they do. And I can't speak for them because I'm not one of them. But I would guess that fathers, men, would not sit here and say, you know what, the mother's not around, and so on Mother's Day I want a Mother's Day card and I want a Father's Day card on Father's Day. Like, I just don't see dudes thinking that way. Maybe they do, and maybe I'm out of touch. I just think that I'm right on this one. I don't think dudes think this way. I think there's some bitterness with women with regards to how men may or may not show up in their lives and show up in their child's lives, and they feel like they need to come up and say, I'm the mother and the father. You know what? You're not the mother and the father. You will never be a father. No matter how messed up the dude that you laid down with is, you just ain't going to be the father. You're not. And so on Father's Day, I need you to step back and mind your business. It's not your day. It's not your day. It's the day of the dudes who's doing what they doing. If your dude ain't doing what he's doing, cool. Mind your business and keep your mouth closed. That's not your day. It's just not. Like yesterday, it may have been a small amount of dudes who stepped in as single fathers with jacked up mothers. But it was a small amount, period. And you don't see them dudes saying, I want a Mother's Day card.
Well, that's the thing. We're
not saying that.
Yeah, I'm not saying I expect this on Father's Day. I expect no. If I
But there's
get
a strong amount
thank
of
you.
but there's a strong push for that, and that's what I'm speaking to.
Absolutely not.
Okay, but then
Absolutely
y'all in the
I
minority,
said-
and I will fall
No.
back.
No, because
I'll fall
I
back.
said-
No.
What did I say? I said Mother's Day should be focused on females and Father's Day should be focused on males. That is what I said.
Don't fall back. We are not sitting here saying
Well, I'm saying I'll
we're
fall
a single
back.
parent, so we want something for Mother's Day and we want something for Father's Day. We are not saying that. We did not have children to raise them alone. We're not saying that we want to be daddy. I know I'm not daddy. I know I can't be daddy. But I've got twice as much work now. So you know what? If I feel like I consider myself doing both jobs, that's where it comes in. Yes, there's bitterness because you put me in a position where I have to work twice as hard. Not that I regret working or doing what I need to do, but you put me in a position where I have to work harder, much harder than I should have to, because there should be a day when I say, go ask your father.
Right. Now I can dig it. I mean, when you say it that way, I understand it in a way that I didn't understand it before. My biggest deal is whenever we have women who want accolades on Father's Day, which is when we see it more. And I think that you guys can admit that we see it a lot on Father's Day. We don't see it so much on Mother's Day. We don't see too many accolades given to single dads on Mother's Day. But on Father's Day, you see it a lot. And I get offended about that. Me personally, I just do. Because I know the kind of father that I am. I know how I, hold my daughter down, and how my brother holds his daughter down, and how my big brother Joe holds his children down, and how my brother Damon holds his children down, and how every brother that I know holds their children down. And then all of a sudden, you got a baby mama that wants to slip in here and wants to get accolades on Father's Day when she got accolades on Mother's Day. I just, it seems petty, and I get that it seems petty, but I'm not cool with it, man.
Don't blame us.
Okay.
Please don't blame us.
Okay.
Because it's
School
not
me. I'm okay.
us. It's not our fault. It's not us. You know who you can blame? You blame that lazy father or brother or sperm donor, really, because that's what you are. You blame that sperm donor for making the good guys look bad.
Well, you lost me with that, because at the end of the day, the sperm donor, just like there's a sperm donor, there's a deadbeat chick who didn't do her part.
Yep.
And so I think that everybody, based on their gender, has some flaws. And I think if we keep it 100 and we say on Mother's Day we celebrate the females, on Father's Day we celebrate the males, we leave it there, everybody's happy. What do you think?
And I would just like to add that I am not bitter. I am disappointed.
Okay.
That is what I am. I'm not bitter, because that takes too much of me, of my life, of my spirit to be bitter.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm very disappointed. That's what I am.
I can dig that. That's fair. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J. Live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio, y'all. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, that's why she is going to lead us in her segment. It's a healthy segment. I don't know what the hell she's going to talk about. She won't be telling me. She just come in here and she be like, I'm going to talk about this. You want to give us a tease or what?
I'll give you a tease.
Please.
It's more man stuff.
More man stuff. Marcus J. S.Y. Miss Tony. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J.
Because we're the
We're going to be back in a minute. Stay with us, y'all.